my goodness! Holy sh!
Hey there folks, for today's video we're going to be building us a race car, and it's kind of hard to see over there. It's a Pontiac Grand Prix. Mr. Junkyard Diggs Kevin is having an event this weekend. The reason I'm not stepping out there to where you can see it is the wind is just blowing terrible. I don't know what it is this spring in Iowa. It's anytime the sun is shining and the temperature's up there, the wind is just awful. But I'm going to get this remains of this old mud racer out of the way and get that Pontiac moved up here, and we'll take a closer look at it and hopefully be out of the wind enough that it won't be a factor. So this is a, I think 98, 99 Pontiac Grand Prix, supercharged 3.8 in it. I saw it sitting up here at the neighbor's house, kind of sitting in the ditch by the road. It had been sitting there a while, so I asked him about it. He said local scrapper was supposed to come get it, but he never had yet, so I plunked down the money and dragged it home. I have had it running once. The battery in it is crap. I managed to get it to charge up enough to start it, but it won't hold a charge. Hey, kitty! And man, it popped right off. He said it hasn't run in like 2 years. This was the car that both of his daughters used in high school. Said it ran and drove fine. It's just, yeah, the interior's trashed, and it's beat up a little bit from hitting deers and little minor fender benders, but I know it needs a brake line on the driver's side. Let's see what else. Needs a battery. Tires. I did buy a couple of tires at a swap meet for it. I crammed in there, but I've got another idea for tires that we're going to look into today. I'm hoping today, I didn't get out here as soon as I wanted to. With what little daylight I got left, I'm hoping to at least clean out the interior, and I want to relocate the battery inside the passenger compartment. Because we're going to be out there racing around in the field, and the battery is right up here in this corner. So it's pretty vulnerable. My original plan was I was just going to strip everything off of this car that wasn't necessary. The doors, the trunk lid, the bumpers, everything. But I'm not sure with the weather what it's supposed to do this weekend. It's supposed to be a lot of rain, and it's just going to be muddy as hell out there. I'm thinking I might be better off just to leave the doors and everything on, because without the doors, it might be throwing mud inside the car. At least with the doors on, any mud that builds up might actually fall back off the car. I don't know, haven't decided yet. I still might strip it down to the bare necessities before then, but today, like I said, I'll try to get the battery relocated. And I've already, what was that? I don't know, about 2 weeks ago, I pilfered the catalytic converter off it, and I don't know if it's going to run without that, because right about here in the middle of the car there was an oxygen sensor. I left it hanging there in a small section of exhaust pipe, but if it won't run once I get the battery in it, I suppose I'll have to get underneath there and run some exhaust so the oxygen sensor can get an accurate reading to tell the engine what to do, because I know the car does run. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Looks like this car had a real problem with electric windows. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electric window motors here. Well, here's the treasure score. $1.97 in coins. What do we got there? 5 cans of spray paint in various colors, and a can of liquid de-icer. Oh, and these 2 little hooky proby tools. Well, as you can see, I made my decision about whether I was going to pull the doors off or not. I am going to leave the driver's one on just for a little bit of safety, you know, getting hit in the side there. I do have a really nice, it's somewhat nice, lightweight racing seat up in the rafters, but I don't think it's going to be worth the effort to put it in here. Not any more time than I've got. The other thing I noticed cleaning the interior out, there are no front seat belts in this. They've been cut out, so I'll have to cobble something up there, probably using the existing rear ones. I will probably go ahead and remove all this plastic bumper cladding. I don't know about the trunk lid. I'll probably pull all this front crap off too. And I might have to remove the front fenders even, if this tire idea of mine works out. I think they're going to be a little bit taller than this, a little more aggressive. There were some ice and snow, mud and snow. I don't know. There were some 17-inch tires and wheels that I ran on my '69 Mustang a few years ago when I did some rallycross. But I'm kind of running out of daylight here. Looks like I'm not going to get the battery in. I'll have to go down to the shed and see if I can round up some cables at least. Found some cables down in the shed. They should reach from where the originals went all the way to where I'll mount the battery on the floor. And these are my tire options. This is an Arturo Trailblade, and this is, what is this, a Hercules Avalanche. Even though the tread is deeper in this, I feel like these ones would probably clean out better because there's more voids between the lugs. And this one's a little bit taller. It's a 235/65/17. This is a 235, what is it? Where is it? 55/17. So, funny thing is, this Pontiac has 5 on 115 wheels. And these are a 5 on 4.5, which comes out to 5 on 114.3 or 0.7. So they're close enough. I wouldn't run them on the road, but I'm sure going to try it on this. I think they'll be close enough, they'll be fine, if they'll fit. I don't know about the back spacing and all that. Let's find out real quick. Won't have enough daylight to do the battery, but let's see if these tires are going to fit. Tire I took off the Pontiac on the right. The 235/55 in the middle, and the 235/65 on the left. I might be asking a bit much getting that one on the left on there, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. Fits better than I thought it would. Not so much concerned with up in here, but more the steering lock-to-lock, if that's going to get into something. Although, yeah, all this is going to be removed. I can remove the fender too, but I can't really do much about that. Maybe try to smash it in with a hammer. I guess I'll find out when I get it running and take it for a drive, whether get to rocking and rolling and get that suspension working. It might cause some issues, but I can always drop back to the 235/55 over there. So, it's the next day. As you can see, I've got my battery relocated. It's not mounted yet, just wanted to see if it'd run, and it does run, but it only runs for a few seconds. Always starts right back up. So, I'm assuming when I took the cat off of it, there was a section of exhaust pipe down there that had a oxygen sensor in it. I did leave that section of pipe. Guessing I'm going to have to get that back in the game. I hope that's all it is. Plus this thing sounds like total ass. I always hated the sound of open exhaust on V6s, so maybe I'll put a muffler in there too. There it is. My hack-ass exhaust job. Only muffler I had that fit in that hump was an old glass pack. I doubt that's going to quiet it down any, but I'll be happy if putting that exhaust sensor back in the system makes it stay running. Let's put her back down and see. Had this piece of plywood up here because I got a pretty good breeze. And I was welding with the MIG welder. Yeah, that's a bit sketchy, but hey, it worked. Moment of truth. What is it, this thing? Come on, stay running. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, it is now Thursday afternoon. I slept way too long today. The race is Sunday, so I've got tomorrow, but there's supposed to be storms coming through tomorrow. And then there's supposed to be a like Saturday show up and work on your car party day up at Kevin's. But yeah, again, it's supposed to be storming that day too. So there's a few things I have to get done today. One of them's supporting that exhaust. I just have a piece of wire holding it up, and that ain't gonna hold up. Want to fix that brake line too. And what else? Oh yeah, the battery hold down stuff. It does run now. Here's the problem. This thing is called a fuel resistor. It was mounted down here on the frame rail, right there, and I unplugged it when I was taking the front clip off, and I cut some of the wiring out. I mistakenly thought it was just the airbag impact sensor. But I got that plugged back in, and thanks to the internet helped me find that. Thanks, internet machine. But yeah, it runs now, so I'm gonna get busy. Alright, got the battery secure. I remounted the fuel pump resistor right in here. I hope that's going to be a little better protected. I suppose it could take a hard shot to the side and buckle that shock tower. Gonna get her tipped up and get something done about the exhaust. Oh yeah, and I've been told that I need to put the doors back on it. Which, for now, I'm leaving them off because it's a lot easier to work on it. I probably might run out of time, actually. Might just have to cram them inside it and put them on Saturday when I got some help, because we're supposedly going to have a two-man team, so I don't know who I'm going to get paired up with. All right, let's take a look at this exhaust hanger. Just a piece of scrap metal out of my pile and some wire. Yeah, it's pretty hacked, pretty sketch, but I think it'll hold up for the weekend. I did add this little bit of turn down so the exhaust wasn't pointed straight at the gas tank. The only thing, I'm running out of time today, as usual. The only thing I got left I wanted to really get accomplished was get that brake line fixed. It's kind of tucked up there in the frame, so I don't know how hard that's going to be to do. One other note, for those of you that aren't aware, when you try pulling a car over with a chain like this, you don't want to just wrap it over the roof and hook it here. It might work. What you want to do is take the chain all the way around the car as far as possible. I have it hooked into the door pillar here. By only hooking it right up here, it'll try to drag the car. By going all the way around, it gives it a rolling effect. And then keep your chain down low so that pulls down on it. So you can see right here in the gravel where the first time I just had it hooked to the upper door pillar, and it just pulled the ass end of the car over. So it is now Friday afternoon. I still have to fix this brake issue. I did find that there's a spot right down there in the wheel well. It's hard to get to, but there's like 3 or 4 brake lines all running together, and that's where the brake line's rusted through. I have no idea which wheel that goes to. So I'm going to try to get in there, break off the line that's rusted through and pinch it off, and then decide if I really want to try to fix it or just leave the damn thing pinched off. Kevin said they got absolutely dumped on up north. So he's thinking that it won't even be a thing tomorrow. I might be better off just staying home and doing more work on the car until at least tomorrow afternoon. And Sunday's even in question too, depending on how much more rain we get and how well it dries out. But anyway, I never did show you the pile of all the debris that I've taken off the car. All the interior and whatnot. I don't know how much rain I got down here in southern Iowa, but it's quite a bit. I will be putting the hood back on. Yeah, there's a pile of all the interior, the seats, the trunk lid, all the outside plastic and whatnot. But I'm going to shut my yapper and get to work. Alright, I found out it was both of the rear brake lines that were rusted through. One was just worse than the other. In the interest of time constraints, I did not rerun the lines. I just unhooked these two coming out of the anti-lock module and it reconnected them. And in order to bleed that, this was pretty clever, I thought. I took whoops, sorry about that, fingers. I took a bar and ran from the brake pedal to the seat, and then used the electric seat to move the seat forward until I saw fluid coming out of here. And I came around here with a hammer, smashed that shut, folded it over, smashed it, folded it over. 3 times usually does it. Did that one at a time, one side at a time, till both of them. It's got a nice firm pedal now. Like I said, I just don't have time to run a new brake line in there to get the rear brakes working. At least there's something for now. Maybe tomorrow the weather will be nice enough and I'll have enough help that maybe we will go ahead and run another brake line to each rear brake. Mostly probably I just need to flip these back down. Sorry, flip these back down, splice it in here, and maybe to right about here midway through the door. Maybe. We'll see what kind of time we got. I don't think we're gonna have time. Hey! What are you doing? This is my daughter, folks. Out in public dressed like that. Oh, scandalous. Eh? What do you think? What do you think? Maybe? Yeah, I think probably not. These are the front tires off of my off-roading mud mower. The bolt pattern will work, just like those ones, but the center hole isn't big enough, and I don't want to cut that out. I kind of need that center hole just the way it is to work on the mud mower. Plus, I think as skinny as these are and aggressive as they are, they would just dig a hole instantly right off the starting line. And I'm not too sure they wouldn't just fold under with this much weight on them in a hard corner. It's kind of an intriguing idea. Maybe I'll follow up on it again some other day. So I took it for a spin. Sorry, I know the wind's terrible out here. Hope it's picking it up. But anyway, it didn't do too bad, but there's a terrible stumble at full throttle. These tires did pretty decent out in the mud, my muddy field. That's going to be a little different than a plowed up bean field, but I put my scan tool on it and it's showing a cylinder number 3 misfire. So sometime either on my way to work tonight, I'll stop at a parts store, or sometime on the trip to Kevin's tomorrow, I'll probably just pick up a whole new set of spark plugs. I also want to put a new air filter in it, and what else? Oh, some wiper blades. But as usual, I'm running out of time. So I had a little bit of time before I left for work, which is where I'm going right now, and I also went ahead and put my fuel pressure tester on it, the Pontiac, and it was only showing 35 pounds of pressure. And I did a little research, and that's not enough. I'm finding different possible reasons, doing a little more research. Maybe the fuel pressure regulator, the fuel pump. Also, I did read where some people had problems with that the fuel pump resistor. It would cause low pressure through the pump, even though it would run. Like when I had it unhooked, it would only run for a few seconds. Maybe pick up some more parts on my way there tomorrow. Try to address those issues. All right, it is Sunday, race morning. A little recap for yesterday. We was too busy to tape anything. This is Aaron's here with me. He's going to be my co-driver. We got loaded up at my place, worked on the car just a little bit, and then it just almost took us forever to get here because we were running all over looking for the fuel pump, fuel pressure regulator, fuel filter, spark plugs, a couple other things. But we changed the fuel filter, and that gave us 5 more pounds of fuel pressure. I'd rather have more than that, but it's running good. It's running great. Sounds good. I didn't drive it. Aaron drove it, and yeah, it looked good to me. So I'm just going to save my money with the pressure regulator and the fuel pump and take them back. On another note, they had some drinking going on here, and I did quite a bit of that myself. I'm feeling a little this morning. I might have been a little obnoxious, for lack of a better word, last night. Yeah. So we're going to go check out the car, see if anybody vandalized it, see if I really truly was that obnoxious. Car is ready. We don't need a number. We're using V for Team Voltron. Team Voltron's reign of terror will be beginning shortly. Well, we're finally about to get going here. We're going to take 6 cars in each heat, and me and Aaron flipped a coin, and I get to go first. So at this point, before the race actually got going for me anyway, we'd been talking to Bill Jones, and if you've watched Kevin's video of the cheap truck challenge, Bill Jones was the one that had the white S10 Blazer truck, or wasn't a Blazer, the white S10, that he called Betty White. He absolutely beat the crap out of that truck. But Bill was telling us about his days back when he used to do figure eight racing, and he said he wasn't out there to win, he was out there to have fun, and the most place to have fun was in the middle of the pack. And that made total sense to me, because we weren't racing for any money here, no points, no trophies, it was just for fun. And I figured, in theory, on paper anyway, my car was probably should be the fastest one out there. I wasn't aware of it at the time when I got this car. I knew it was supercharged, but I didn't think that they were all that rare. And from what I was told, there was only one other car there with a supercharger on it. And my car, I didn't notice anybody else out there with anything but street tires. So I had the most aggressive tires out there. So yeah, like I said, in theory, my car should have been the fastest. And based on that and what Bill said about the fun, I was planning on starting at the back of the pack and seeing if me and the car were going to be good enough to work our way through the field to the front. But it didn't really work out that way. When we got flagged, our group got flagged to get out there. Nobody went. So I got tired of waiting. I'm like, I want to get swifty, so I pulled out there at the front of the pack. Sorry, I screwed up. The GoPro did not work on this particular run anyway. So all I've got is the cell phone footage. But yeah, as you can see, I did not win that heat, which didn't matter anyway. I did have fun, but I still wish I would have been in the middle of the back of the pack. I don't know if you could tell it by the cell phone footage, but the car was not running right. I was as you saw, I managed to hold on to for so many laps, and like the last, what was it, 1 or 2, I got past, and I just couldn't get it back. The car was cutting out just like it was here when it didn't have enough fuel pressure. And me and Aaron dug into it out in the pits, and I was still making 40 pounds of pressure. Put the scan tool on it. It was telling us it just had a general misfire. It didn't tell us what cylinder, which from what I researched was also a sign of having too low of a fuel pressure. You'd get misfires due to it running so lean. As the race progressed, it seemed like the cutting out was getting worse and worse, or maybe just the other drivers were getting better and better. Well, she did admirably, but I believe we're still dealing with not enough fuel pressure. The tires did great. Car handled good. Just down on the power. He passed me and I couldn't get him back. Aaron's up next. Okay, so now it's time for Aaron's heat. And as you can see if you watch, he started out in 3rd place in his pack and pretty much immediately pushed his way to the front. Just bowled and pushed and knocked his way to the front. As you can see by the video you just watched, they went into a yellow flag caution, and before they got back to the green flag racing, the car came rolling to a stop. Yeah.
Stop driving or what?
So, looks like we got a popped off transmission line there is what took Aaron out. We're surmising that it happened when he bumped his way to the front right there in the first corner. Attrition has taken its toll today. We're down to the mains. Aaron's gonna run first. We flipped the coin. The transmission, we got the line hooked back up, got some fluid in it. It is moving. It's not as crisp as it used to be, but we're going to see what happens. That's what we're here for. Like I said, Aaron's going out. It's going to be a 20-lap main, and they're not going to stop the race this time for flat tires. There's our boy. He's in 6th place at the moment, starting. They got the green flag. He's already making a move. He's in 5th. Got 3rd. Oh my God. don't know what's going on here. Oh, we got a dead car on the track. Say restart. Yes, here we go. Action's on. There's making another move again. Look at him go. He's aggressive. Second. What is he gonna take first? He's pushing for it. Oh, broken tie rod. Wow, okay, our day is over. So unfortunately I didn't get to run a main because of the broken tie rod. I've got it fixed now. Did I replace it? No, I just welded it back together and added a brace to it. As you could probably tell by the video, the car ran a lot better for Aaron, and on the drive home we talked about that, and the difference was the way he drove it with the transmission. I mean, I still believe it's not making enough fuel pressure, but the way I drove it, I just put it in drive and let the transmission do its thing. Aaron was just using first and second gear, shifting it himself. So I'm assuming that the way I was doing it, the transmission, the way it was programmed, it was trying to run in a higher gear than what Aaron was doing by running it manually in first and second. And by running in that higher gear, the way the whole transmission and fuel injection system worked out, it was requiring more fuel pressure to run at the lower RPMs, whereas Aaron was running it in first and second with higher RPMs. Even though the RPMs were higher, it wasn't lugging the engine down. I don't know, that's the only theory I can come up with why it ran so great for him. Or maybe the car just likes him a lot better. Seeing as how I'm a Ford guy and this is a GM. Check it out, got race fans here checking out the cool ride. Now, obviously, I've only showed the footage of the stuff I was involved with, and I'm sure if you've watching my channel, you most likely was made aware of it by Kevin's at Junkyard Dig's channel, helping to promote me. And so you're probably going to be watching his footage as well if you haven't already. So his footage will be a lot more inclusive. He's going to cover who all was there. There were other YouTubers there. It'll just be a lot better. He's been doing it longer. He had multiple cameras all over the course. I had a lot of fun, no doubt, even though I didn't get to spend as much time behind the wheels I'd hoped, but it was amazing how many tires were getting took out there. I'm just happy that my good mud tires there didn't get wiped out, because I didn't buy those brand new for this. I think I covered that before. But the 2 tires that I did run, they were brand new, but they'd just been sitting for a couple of years in my shed. A couple of years ago, I was doing some rallycross with my '69 Mustang, and I just, for reasons I won't get into, I hadn't done it for a couple of years. So those were reserved for my Mustang, but I ran them on this. I'm glad they didn't get tore up. Now at this point with the car, I'm thinking I might, down here in southern Iowa, there's a couple of races. They're called redneck rallies. They're kind of similar to what Kevin did, but they're out at fairgrounds, and they put small jumps, potholes, and you're out there with a bunch of other cars. I'm thinking I might try that with this. I don't know yet. Those tracks are a lot more abusive than what Kevin had going on, but I would do it in a moment, but now that I found out the supercharged car is a lot more rare, I kind of want to save it for Kevin's track for next year instead of tearing it up at one of those tracks. But we'll see. I need to investigate the fuel pump pressure issue. So in closing, I'd like to thank some people. Obviously, Kevin and Mika for their hospitality and putting on such a great event. I don't know how they did it. It looks like it would have been a huge pain in the butt. I'd like to thank my neighbor for giving me a good deal on the car, although I think he just wanted it out of his way, but just dumb luck that there was a car there when I needed it. I don't know if I should be thanking Aaron for coming along and helping, because he did tear up my car twice, but I guess maybe that kind of balances out with his help. Plus, he drove my drunk butt to the motel Saturday night, and I was so tired coming home Sunday night that he had to take over the driving. But yeah, and then he decided he wanted to help himself to my pumpkin bars too. I don't know what's up with that, but I guess it's all good. Thanks, Aaron. All right, I got the new fuel filter pulled out that we put on Saturday, just out of curiosity to see what might be in it. Give me an idea what I'm going to expect to find in the tank. Yeah, it's kind of cloudy. Way better than what came out of that old one Saturday. Like I said, that was just some nasty gray sludge. So here it is after the gasoline is evaporated. That sure looks like just gravel road dust to me, which kind of makes sense out here. When we stopped to fill the car up on the way to the event, we filled up with 91 octane non-ethanol fuel, and when it got full, there was a little bit of a fuel leak for a few minutes on the trailer. And so I'm guessing, yeah, somewhere where the top of the tank is met up against the bottom of the car, a bunch of crap's got in there, rusted the tank out, and then over the years of being driven like that, probably out here on the gravel road, the gravel dust gets in there and it's got into the tank, and it's in the tank. So looks like I'll be investigating getting a new fuel tank along with a new fuel pump. And as usual, I'd like to tell you to get out there, find yourself a project and work on it and have some fun. Just don't be going after projects that I want. You leave those alone.